Hello. I'm terribly sorry. I'm 2 minutes late, which isn't like me, but I got sidetracked. I put the kettle on, so you can hear a bit of an annoying sound in the background, possibly. But I'll hop up in a minute and make a cup of tea because I have this a nice, relaxing live stream. Because look at all the work that was done for Inktober so far. And it's only day 20. And there are 31 days in October. So already I can't close my sketch pad. It's my own fault for the sort of sketch pad I chose. I chose one that the paper is very thin on and ink seeps through terribly easy. So what I did was I used a nice thick watercolor paper and I'm sticking that in as I go along. And it's a nice technique because it leaves you very free, that you don't worry you're going to mess up a page in your sketchbook. But afterwards, I'm going to have to probably tie that sketchbook up with a little ribbon or something, and even put it away in a cardboard box so that bits like this bit, which is a movable bit, but has a bit sticking out the side, so that bits like that don't get damaged. So it's going to have to be boxed afterwards, which makes it a real event, doesn't it? But another thing that makes your work a real event is calligraphy. So for day 20, there's the kettle boiling. For the prompt, we're going to work with calligraphy, okay? And I'm going to have a little bit of music and work away quietly, because this is one of these things you have to practice something over and over um, to start getting the hang of it. And I have a book to help me that I picked up online secondhand, got it off a YouTuber's recommendation, Alaya Art's recommendation. So thank you for that. So I have reference to work from and everything. But if you're doing kind of very illustration or graphic designy sort of work, which kind of Inktober tends to go that way, because you don't have the time available to you to do kind of for paintings or anything, and it's ink drawing, and it's you could do it very slowly, but then you're looking at maybe one piece a week. So if you're looking for a piece every day, you're going to be going for a particular kind of style, which might be a more illustration or graphic design style. Let me get the kettle and we'll come back and talk about that. And we'll talk about what we're going to do for the live stream. I have the channel mug out for this one. No, it's not me. It's my camping bag, isn't it? It's my Dun Emerald mug with my quote, "Tea fixes everything," which I'm sure many people have said, but I've claimed it as my quote because I'm always saying it. So if we make any mistakes, the tea makes it all not matter. But this, I've been having a go at this kind of gothic style of calligraphy from the new book, and the new book has 100 different styles. And I started using calligraphy a little bit last year when I learned a bit of copperplate to do this sort of thing. I had bought a beautiful new nib for this it's a nib that people doing manga like a lot. It's actually a bit of a dirty nib, but it's a what's it called? I keep going to say baby G, which is a watch. It's not a nib. Uh, maybe is it G is in the title of it? I can't think of the name of the nib. It's a really popular one. Yeah, it's G. Maybe it's a zebra G or something. But nibs aren't wildly expensive, so I've ordered more nibs. But today, um, for what I'm doing today, that's done with that nib. But for what I'm doing today, I need a broader nib. And for the gothic style, you see, you use a kind of a flat nib. This is from, that's not even wide enough for what I want. This is from a calligraphy set I got. And although the set was cheap and everything, and it was a chance for me to try out, it was the first time I tried out calligraphy. It's not a good set. It's non brand name thing. I just got it in Lidl or Aldi's or one of those. But I have now ordered some. I think they're called Brosa nibs. They're German, a German nib that have a very good reputation. So I've ordered a lovely little come in a beautiful tin, actually, six set, I think it is, of nibs from them that's due to arrive next Monday. I have all sorts of goodies arrive. But until then, I am going to, because I don't have a suitable nib, I'm going to use my calligraphy pen, which I haven't. I bought a few of these, but I haven't actually used them an awful lot yet. Because I don't enjoy the felt pen experience as much as the nib pen experience. And I love this nib pen so much for drawing and writing and everything. That oblique holder is lovely. I got it's actually a really, really one of the cheapest holders on Amazon. And I got it for those nibs and wasn't really sure I was going to be able to handle it. It looks kind of hard to handle, but for my tilt of my hand, it turns out to be great because I tend to lean my hand on the paper and be very sideways with my hand. So even when I'm using ink pens, these kind of what would you call them, fine liner pens, I don't have much success with them because I lean so much that way that I lean onto the metal bit on them, and I put too much pressure on the heads of them because they have a little tiny felt head on them, and I like drawing very, very tiny, like that kind of tiny there. And so I get these really thin fine liners, and I was finding that I was only getting like a week out of them when the ink wasn't run down. I was just grinding the head down, and it wasn't from leaning too hard, it was from leaning too sideways. So this solved that kind of problem. This, and then the other favorite ink thing I have is these are a rollerball. And I have a passion for stationery. And this is why today's live stream is going to be very relaxing for me because it's about enthusing about this sort of stuff as well as practicing. And this is the other new discovery that one of the YouTube channels where people go on about study all the time, and they have pens and highlighters and things. And I was studying a course a while back there, and I bought new pens, but I saw somebody using this pen. And this is a Japanese office pen, and they come in sets, and they're not expensive, but they have such a beautiful tip on them, and because they're a roller ball, they work well even if you're very side on angle and rollerball style. They flow very well, so you can draw very quick. So I adore those as well. So yeah, I've had a bit of a love affair with inks for the last year. So I had to do Inktober this year, no matter how tiring. I decided to do it. But so there I was trying to practice something out of the book, and I'll show you um, the alphabet we're using today out of David Harris's book, Calligrapher's Bible. And I haven't had time to slow down and do a practice session of this yet, but I'm way ahead today because I'll show you in a minute. I have the today's drawing for the prompt frost done already. So my plan is to do a um, little calligraphy heading for it that says day 20 and frost in brackets. But I want the word frost in gothic lettering. And I'll probably do capital F. And although Gothic is it's either all capitals or all small letters, I think. So I think you can do it all in capitals, and I could do the whole thing in capitals. Might make it easier for myself. So I want that running up the side of the drawing, and I'll show you the drawing. And I have left it so that this is other calligraphy that I've done. I don't do huge amounts of calligraphy, but when I got that those nibs, I started doing a lot of copper plate calligraphy with a YouTuber called Maria Montez, who does beautiful videos on calligraphy. I really like her videos. She does courses as well. I've never done her courses, but her videos are so enjoyable to work along with. They're really, really nice. And you could spend a happy hour just, doing C's or A's or whatever. I've filled up pages and pages with these things. But it's good fun. And then, even your own handwriting, they're calligraphic, if you like, elements you can use in your art as well. So I kind of save little scraps. And I'm actually thinking now of maybe getting a notebook for my calligraphy practice so that afterwards I can reuse the practice pages as scrap elements for integrating into some of my artwork. Um, and I saw somebody uh, I was watching videos about inks last night, and somebody was using a Rhodia um, Maya paper pad that seemed very good for the other thing people use is really good quality typing paper, which I don't have and is very dear. So you have this problem of bleed sometimes unless you have the right paper. And the right paper is expensive just for practice, so you feel bad using it. So that was a cheaper recommendation paper than I'd been using. So what I have is this image, and I'm going to tear off. I left the masking tape tear until I was live because I know people like masking tape tears. So I'm going to remove the masking tape. Hopefully it'll come off okay. I have a layer of varnish over this to hold down some of the collaged elements. And I have my frost picture done, and the plan is to write the word frost along here and day 20. So that's got to happen today. But we hope maybe I should have a sip of tea before doing this because sometimes tape doesn't come off that well. There's a trick with this as well, apparently. And if your tape is too sticky, which mine sometimes is, masking tape, because it's plain, is the nicest tape I've found so far. Now, I might need a little help with this bit, which is overlapping very slack. I want to cut through. You can get the tape before you stick it to this and stick it to your trousers a few times. I thought that was a great tip because it takes a bit of the sticky out of it. So I'm being very careful for these bits because they're the collaged bits and they're slightly on the masking tape. And I want to keep a fairly okay edge on it. I don't do this masking tape thing on all my pieces because it doesn't suit everything. But I don't know. I thought it might look nice on this one. See, I've already got a little bit of tear on my paper there. And I'm currently looking for the washi tape that's totally plain because some of the patterns on the washi tapes annoy me. The washi tape isn't as sticky as this stuff, so it's slightly better for the job. I got a painter's tape recently, but it turned out to be a very bright yellow, which was distracting. This color is a nice neutral, isn't it? It was also extremely sticky. I didn't want it extremely sticky. Ruin your paper. Now this bit here is quite challenging. Nothing's going to happen quickly on today's stream. But I think sometimes people get sick of me being very frantic as well. If you haven't been around my channel very long, you might not know it, but I can talk the hind legs off a donkey and very rapidly, and people need a rest from it sometimes. There, so yeah, I think it's nice framed up like that. Ooh, to leave some of that well alone there. Now, so we got it off more or less clean. So that would be nice, I think, with the frost bit written on it there. I don't know about anybody else, but all I could think of was the film Shining when I had this prompt. And I thought, no, I don't want her freezing the queen, the evil queen, freezing to death in a tunnel of frost, because that might be too like the film. So I'm just having this be about her very cold heart because she hates the princess and wants to destroy her, and was in the forest to try to get her the frog prince. I will tell the rest of this story. The beginning of the story is over on my uploads tab if you're interested. The first 15 days, they all became a story for me, you see. So the queen has this evil frog zombie prince, right? And she's given him a dagger, and his mission was to kill the princess in the forest. But he's failed at it. He found out yesterday he failed. I have these all uploaded as short videos, but I put them all into one story as well, a story video that a lot of people have actually watched. So I was glad that it appealed, and the idea of it appealed enough to people, or that they even understood the idea well enough to want to watch it. Um, but like when you're given prompts every day, you do tend to go towards like either treating them completely separately or they just become a story. And that's what happened for me. They became a story. So now the evil queen is really cheesed off because she hasn't managed to get her zombie frog prince to kill the princess in the forest, because the bees protected the princess, you see. They all gathered around her and made her really plump, because yesterday's prompt was plump, and protected her from the frog prince trying to stab her. And they went at him and everything, tried to sting him and all this. So she's annoyed with both the princess now and the zombie frog prince. She made him a prince, you see, and you know, he's not keeping up his end of the bargain. He hasn't managed to kill the princess yet. So we're going to have to get our writing the right size and everything for there. Um, the writing might have some silver over it, and I have nice things to do silver with. I have my new Starry palette by let's see, I always forget the name of the company. Kuretake. And I love that palette so much. Oh, it's so beautiful. And look at all the lovely colors, which I have all my inks slightly messing up the colors, but it's so beautiful, that palette. I love it. So I have choices there. I have edding, an edding set of pens with silvers in them if I wanted to do that. Frost and silver, you know, they do go together. But my idea is to have the black lettering underneath, and then I can go over it in some sort of a silver finish, so that it's more integrated with the picture, because in the picture the only real black is her eyes and her hair and that, little thin line of her going down. So I don't know if the black of lettering is going to be too black. So we'll just prop that up while we practice, because we have to get a lot of practice of these kind of things first. And I had a go at writing the word castle. Um, but not, I wrote it on a spare piece of paper, you see. I'm clever like that. I didn't want to mess up my picture. This one is going directly on the picture, so it's going to be a bit nerve-wracking. Um, so the castle one, I worked it in with something else, and that's the nice thing about lettering, you can work it in with other elements. So I like that. Um, other things I'm doing with calligraphy are more casual things. Uh, there's the book that I'm working on, the kids' book at the moment, and that's obviously done in a style that's a lot more relaxed. It's just capital letters, and then a little bit of, when there's some kind of a quote going on, a little bit of a kind of a modern style copperplate. So I'm working on that at the moment still. There's a bit of work that has to be coloured in tomorrow. I usually do this first thing in the morning before I do my Inktober stuff. But I can't believe how busy it's been for Inktober. So a nice relaxing session would go down extremely well. So this is what I am thinking about using for today's. This has loads and loads and loads, 100, as I said, different things in it. This is David Harris's book. And I got this half price secondhand, and it's in pristine condition. Person obviously never used it, or it was a very neat person. But even for Gothic letters, they have loads of different alphabets, and they have the capital letters and smaller case letters for each alphabet. They also give you the history of the alphabets. It's a really interesting book. So I was dying to do more with that, because the only reference that I had on paper to work from before was this for copperplate with my capitals and small case, and that was copied from videos and things I saw online, and I had no book as a reference for it. The other thing before we move on to practice that I want to show you is the first of my new ink deliveries. And to take a break from practice in the middle of the live stream, what I'm going to do is swatch that, because that ink just arrived. I've used it in one piece so far, but the piece, it's a beautiful red. It's garnet red, which is Rouge Grenat in Jacques Herbin ink. And although I've used it in one piece, I folded up the piece. So you won't get to see that until I swatch it. But swatching is a very relaxing thing to do as well. That's a nice way to take a break from calligraphy, give the eyes a break for a minute. But this ink, I haven't tried it before, but I was looking it up last night on YouTube, and Napoleon used this ink. It's been around that long. It's been around about 300 years. French ink made in Paris. And this is kind of this bottle is a kind of an eco-friendly bottle that there's nothing extra going on with. But I got it in such a small size because I wasn't sure if it was exactly the red I was looking for. I needed a red that was kind of a blood red, and I've ordered a different red, and I'm glad I got this one, because the other red I hadn't realized has little gold particles in it, which I don't want all the time necessarily, because I can add gold into inks with my Starry palette quite easily, and did in that piece yesterday. But the other red ink I have, it's more the color of these guys. I got these out of the garden, and it's a pinkier kind of a red. So there's more pink in it than red, but this one is a very deep red, and it's nice. So that ink, um, if I used up all that red, I don't tend to use a lot of red because it's such a dramatic color. Don't need a lot, you know. And the way I use inks, I end up with a lot of things like this going. I'm using them like watercolors a lot. So I end up with little mixes of things left that still have a lot of life in them that I can use again. Like, you see how much life is left in that, and what a beautiful color it is. That's from a mix of a few different colors that I mixed up. So the other thing I've ordered are little bottles with droppers so that I can store those mixtures and not be just pouring them down the sink. So my inks, I wouldn't use them the way a person with a fountain pen might use inks, neat, you know, all the time. I might use them watered down. So I get a lot out of a bottle of ink, basically. So if I ever buy the replace that one, you know, and have it in my collection of inks as a, you know, something I'll always have, I would get their nice bottle. But I have a green ordered in that as well. And the nice bottle is a bottle that's that nice kind of this kind of shape, but it has a rest for your pen here as well, which is just a little feature that's very gimmicky. And there's something about inks that they appeal to the collector in you quite frequently, because these bottles are nice. Don't really like their labels that much, but I like the bottles with the little droppers on them, not just for practical purposes, but I like uh, inkwell style bottles as well. They're also beautiful, and they're real collecty, and even little trays and things that you mix your ink in. They're also beautiful to work with. Then it makes the whole experience such a pleasure. And you see, you can also get into collecting sealing waxes and the little stamps, and they can be a very decorative thing. Obviously, you're not going to use them the way they were originally intended all the time to seal your letters with, because snail mail isn't such a big thing anymore. But I did use them in artwork, and I'm trying to find the one that has that. Yeah, I did one for day 11, Wander, and I was doing this. This worked out well. I was happy with this one. I was doing this one on rice paper, which takes ink beautifully. And I did that with my favorite diamine ink. I adore diamine inks. I'm a huge fan of them now. That's the one and only one I have so far, but I'm definitely going to buy more. So here's the sealing wax. You see, it can be a lovely decorative element, and you know, it sort of often comes with the calligraphy set, and you know, you could probably make your own with kind of a wood block style, your own seals, as long as you seal the wood properly afterwards. I do have a little Dremel I bought. But look at all the things inks can do, all the different effects. I love this page because it's like today, it's a rest in the rest of the thing. And you see, on paper like that, you can do calligraphy and things as well. So um, calligraphy allows you to work with kind of scraps of things as well. So we better do some work, huh? Because again, I'm hoping to upload today's piece by um, sort of 5 o'clock, so that I can relax for the evening. And I'm just going to use, oh, it's kind of a bit dirty already. I don't know how I got that dirty just putting it down there. Um, I'm going to use just copier paper, and it's cheapo copier paper, but I actually don't think this pen is going to go through it. I tried a bit of it earlier. But the other thing I need is a pencil and a ruler. So let me do something here. This is where I get into music. So I'm going to rule out some lines in pencil because you have to, this thing here is to test the heights, how many heights to make your line. And if I was doing capitals and lowercase, I'd have a line for the top line, the ascender, and a line for the descender, the lowest part of the descender. But I'd also have two lines in between, if you get me, for the lowercase letters. But like without a guideline, I would be going all over the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stick on some music. And if I don't see you in chat, I'll just say hello now, because I actually have a different tab open for playing music. But I got a track that I hope you'll enjoy. It was on my last video upload. It's actually a YouTube thing, a Joseph Suk. And it's kind of like a symphonic kind of number, but it's nice, relaxing. So we'll be able to work for half an hour with this. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6 heights. I'm looking for those. Sorry, it's the music. Sorry, folks, it bounced me out. It tends to do that when I try to play music. And if it dare we try the music again? Played fine earlier on. 3 times now I've been bounced out. Will it bounce me out again? Has it given up trying to? It's so cruel. I'll have to give it a minute to before I touch anything to see will it settle. Okay, I'm in as a guest, and I'm trying to use it. Okay, I managed to turn the music off, so, so maybe we'll have better luck. And I think it's because, sorry, I'm waiting to get bounced out again. Hopefully, I won't if I turn that music off. I think it's because it's a long piece of music. It's not like a short loop. And in fact, I had to go in and edit the music and cut it up into two halves for StreamYard to accept it because it said the file was too big otherwise. But clearly, it's just too much for it to handle. So we might be stuck with just their default music, which I don't like very much. But probably half anybody watching has given up at this stage. It's really only me gritting my teeth, carrying on. So let's see. Can I play anything? I'm afraid to play the other thing again. Let's just play. I'm not playing dance pop. Let's try and play this shorter piece. Wish me luck, folks. To a relaxing stream. Did I get it? Okay. 1, 2, 6. So that's my height, you see, for this pen, because that thickness. Now, rust. Okay, so I need an F And the capital looks like a lowercase, really. That's kind of surprising. One is this, two is that. So let's just break it down. 1, 2, 3. Where's 3? 3 is the solid one. Okay. And then 4 is that. Is that. 5 different strokes, my goodness. And see these, I think those ones are done. That one. I don't know how you start that. This is why videos can be a bit better, because you can see somebody doing the thing, but you don't get as much with the video. It does talk to you a little bit here about how to start them off, but I think that is that's a good thing. So we'll see how you need practice with that. Of course, before I go near the line, I'm having to practice it. I'm not used to tilting. It says on this side that you can use several different angles or tilts of your hand to achieve the thing, but the copper plate that I was doing, you kept your hand at the same angle all the time. So I want to watch more videos on that as well, but this is a good start. So I think that for this, I should be able to do it all at the one angle. Let's see. Okay, so that's the right angle there. So I'm going to go for that. Okay. 1, 2 is this downward job here. Now it shows it in the picture. In that F, it shows it meeting that corner, coming out from that corner. So even that bit there is not right. So it should have gone. Oops. And my angle there, you see, isn't right. I want to put it straight down. I don't know whether does that taper out for the F. Is there? Would you say there's a curve on that bit of the F? Yeah, it does look curved a bit. So it's down and curved, and then another curve. But at the same time, that's supposed to be that same thickness as that, and you see little things like those that kind of not meeting right, they can mess things up. Thickness there is wrong there. So I mean, it is important to know when you're doing wrong. It's about the best line I've done so. And you see me doing this. Let me come down a little bit. Okay. So 2, 3 is this long line here. And actually those curvy bits might be done afterwards. I think they might be extra strokes to go in afterwards. See, sometimes you get things from videos you don't from books, so I'm enjoying watching videos as well, and probably have a look for videos tonight. So this bit is lower than that. Let me just practice here. And then you see I would do that, I think. Shouldn't have to go back over, basically. Let me try. Not completely sure how you make those marks either. It doesn't tell you absolutely everything. I'll have to read this more carefully, I think. Does tell you those down here. Hackles. They're calling them hackles. Added to the stem, rounded off informal bulges. Doesn't really tell you exactly how to do them. I'm gonna do them like that. I'm a devil. I like exact instructions. That's why I like your one, Maria Montez. She's very precise. But I like that I have all the references for the letters here, though. So I'm sorry about getting bumped out earlier, and I will try to. I'll try to edit that tomorrow. It'll be a day processing live, but I'll try and edit out that middle bit, and in the meantime I'll put in chapters. Oh, I made a mess of that. So the widths aren't right there. You know, if you can match them perfectly, you're going to be more successful. But hey, you know, that's why you practice. So that was 1, 2, 3. Hackles were supposed to be, you know, afterwards, but I couldn't wait to do them. Whereas 4 is this guy. So 4 is find the line and there. So we're still at the same angle. And 5 is this one. Yeah, so I got in that Herbin ink, I got olive green in the big bottle, so I'm excited about that. This looks wonderful, but then it's on its own as well. It might look better when it's with the other letters. So that's F for frost, or where's my or? Follower. Now, really, when I was starting doing this Gothic, I would have done well to start with an O, because a lot of the letters are based around the O's, the width of the O's. So if you get an O right, you know, all your other letter widths come from. But once I see my O, it might be okay. So the O starts with. Sorry, trying to get it all in shot there. It starts with going at the same angle. It starts that way. 1, 2 is the little curve, and I don't want to have to change the angle, but it's supposed to be really thin, that one. It's a 45-degree angle for this particular thing, and they're showing angles changing here, which I find confusing, because for the copper plate the angle didn't change, and for writing at any speed, it's to change the angle is kind of a new idea for me. So that's what I want to check in other videos as well. Watch other calligraphers and see if they're changing angles and things like that. But like, you know, it is a very recommended book, so like I believe them. I just need to get confident about what I'm learning. So I might have gone a bit far out on that. Where's 2, 3 is this downward, and it's the same. I've kind of done this kind of thing already. That's got it. I'm not worrying about the height. 4 is this guy. So I'm getting used to the idea of that guy. 5 is starts a little bit down. See the way you don't alter the angle of that? That's how you get some thickness. And then these two. I don't know what you call these things. Hairlines, they're just going. Excuse me. And this is yeah, it's a bit of a mess. But you see, that's just lack of confidence. More practice will get better. So maybe like 10 times each letter, and I'll end up with something by 5 o'clock. Just as well, I have the picture done. So here we go again. 1, 2 is this little guy. 3 is, I'm not worrying about distances between letters at the moment. I have a trick for that later, which is just to roughly draw the writing in to get because the distances between letters can vary depending on what letter it is. Like between say an I and an O, there might be a different space than between an I and a T. You know, it looks right. Shoving them further or nearer together, so you can't always tell by just measuring. So down, I've done line 1, 2, down, just keeping it straight is the challenge. And I should have actually done that at the end of the order. Got to do it. But you see, that and that, they're the same marks. So, you know, I'm getting practice on the same sorts of marks. That's a little bit high there. Well, at least I can sort of tell what's wrong. And my oar could have maybe come down a little bit lower. I'm being hypercritical. RT, we need to fix things. So that's the oar. Oh, haha, the O looks like fun, doesn't it? So let's try the O down here. So 1 is at 2. 3. Oh, 3 is this. Oh, and miles off. 3. What is that? Oh, 2. I've done 2 in the wrong place. 1. Oh, 1 is that. 1 is that. 2 is that. That's better because now you're getting the width of the O. 3. That makes more sense. 4. And then your little crosshairs. Okay, so that width should be somewhat relative to the it's only about 3/4 the width. Okay, so 1. And I have given up at the idea of trying to get the distances correct for these. It's enough just to manage the letters sequence in the right order. 2, 3, 4. 3 and 4 are easy enough to do with one thing. Okay, they're not. It's a bit blasé with that bit, wasn't it? O S. Ooh, look at the S. Isn't that fun? Okay. Just finding stroke 1 is quite. Seems to be that middle bit. 1, 2 comes out. 3. There we go. 3. Didn't make that wide enough. You see, I need a pre-practice before the practice. And then you do that. Okay, we'll go. Don't like having to go back and fill in things. You have to. When you're learning, you have to. I think altering the thing when I'm doing those hairlines is a very good idea. So the S turned out okay. Scale-wise, I'm all over the place scale-wise. We won't worry about it. ST. Now I like this one because this is quite like, and I noticed they have it in it. This is quite like the way the Irish alphabet is written. This T, so this doesn't look too alien to me. So it's, I won't even do a practice. I'll just go for I won't do a pre-practice. I'll just do this. So it's not unlike the way a C would be done. So, are you sick of that song yet? I'm afraid to change it. I don't want to be bumped out again. Okay, my hairlines are too far apart. But I want to get to the end of frost. So that's the first go at frost. And hopefully, by the time I get the video up tonight, it'll be slightly better. But, so I'm going to keep working on that this afternoon. But, we want to take a break for a minute because I also have to be able to write day 20, which I'm not necessarily doing in Gothic. I might just write it in a style that goes with Gothic, but not do it in capitals. So the other thing I want to do is lower that slightly. And swatch this new color to show you the color because it's so beautiful. I'll get you addicted to all these ink videos the way I am. And it's a good idea to shake up your bottle in case, like me, you're not sure which ones have particles in and which haven't. Because when I bought this one, I didn't know there's little beautiful little light reflective particles in it until I used it. But what happens is all the particles can collect down here, so some of the inks need a little shaking up. But here's the kind of reds that I had before. They're watercolors, but that's an aquafine. That's the aquafine ink I had. So I didn't actually have a red. I didn't actually have a red. It was really a pink I had. But it's nice. I like aquafine, but it doesn't do well for red. I had to mix it with my yellow, which is an acrylic ink. And with acrylic inks, they're more like a paint than an ink, really. They're non-transparent. They're a bit transparent, but not very transparent, so they behave differently when you mix them with inks. So I really needed a new red because that is a magenta. That's a quinacridone magenta that I bought it for a particular flower. that I was drawing. So what I do when I get new colors in anything, and I work in different media, so I test out any new media I get, and here I'm comparing, for example, the effect of watercolor on my nice watercolor paper with the effect of India ink. So you can get to see like subtle differences and things. And I often use watercolor and inks together. Um, Last year I worked like that at all. I've been refraining from doing that for Inktober. I'm just working with the inks in Inktober and the odd thing like Tipex. um, but you know, you can get to see the subtle differences and things when you swatch things out. And it is nice to have a little book like this to keep some of your experiments and your swatches in, because you make up your own colors sometimes as well. And I was doing things like making up bistre mixes, which are a lovely brown kind of a watercolor mix that used to be very commonly used, but they're quite subtle color tones, and you can get quite a lot of tones just out of mixing a few things. So with inks, I use them like watercolors in a way, because um, like for example, that color, that weird color I showed you earlier, that's not a particular ink color. It's a mix. It's a mix of my lovely Aurora Borealis, that stuff, and probably I would think probably no, that's black. I think it's this Bombay India ink sepia with it. Um, so I want to swatch my new color, and you get to see how beautiful it is. I just need to get a spare piece of paper, a piece of watercolor paper, and that'll get stuck into this book. Um, so I need a clean brush as well, with no ink on it, which could be hard to get. We'll see. And that's the other thing with inks. The only thing that's a bit irritating is you have to get up and get clean water all the time because the inks stain the water so much. Yeah, it's okay. Now, I'm going to flood this little test thing with the water first, because I like to test how they bleed as well. And I have tested this color already, because yesterday's video, day 19, utilized this color. But look at that. That's a like what you call a true red. It's really beautiful, isn't it? And look at the bleed if we continue on down. So this has no kind of particles in it or anything. Now, when you've got it really dark, at its darkest, it is a slightly, it's not a cadmium red, it's more of an alizarin red, but it is a red. You know, it's nowhere near as pinky as a sort of a magenta red. But I like it because it is blood red. And actually the other red that I have common is, we'll water it down a lot for this. The other one I have common is a diamine, another diamine, like the Aurora Borealis one I love. Sorry, I'm just playing now. Oh, I'm going to show you something else that I love doing. The other one I have common is called Writer's Blood, and apparently it's a wildly popular one. But probably it's wildly popular because it has a little bit of this in it, gold particles. So watch what happens here. See, I can kind of do it to a certain extent myself, but for people with fountain pens, it's very exciting to have gold or silver or reflective particles in the ink to use in a fountain pen, you know? I mean, isn't that like just a beautiful idea? But this is what I was doing with yesterday's one. I had a path, And part of my story was that the princess got a map, and the map told her to follow the golden path. And the golden path was quite often when you find with gilt frames and things like that, when you have a golden frame, underneath there's a red, a beautiful red, because red shows up gold beautifully and makes it look very rich and luxurious. So I did that with the paths on the map. On the correct path, I did the paths red and then painted over them when they were still wet with this, just dropping that gold into them. And so it went, the story followed the golden path. And of course, there are metaphors in there as well, aren't there? But it's so lovely that I'm trying to get it that I can capture the light without this side all um, flowing out from my test swatch. And it's beautiful. So you can use it very watered down, and you can, it's starting to show there as it's settling into the paper. It'll show the texture of the paper. That paper I'm using is, again, my favorite paper. People who are used to my channel are sick of me saying this, raving about this paper, but I have new people that I'm very grateful to have you here. I met these new people in October, you see, and I'm going around looking at all their work and absolutely enjoying it. But there's the paper I love, Aquapad. Clairefontaine, their stuff is beautiful, but it's a lovely texture to work on. It's a bit textured, but you can do very fine drawings and things on it as well. So a lot of my Inktober work is done on that paper. So that swatch, when that dries, that'll go into the book along with the little notes on it. And then on Monday, I'll be getting the olive green in that brand in the really fancy uh, ink container. That's very beautiful, and that's exciting. And I'm also getting the nibs, the Brosa nibs for broad nibs for that gothic style calligraphy, which is exciting because I can do copperplate quite happily with this and love using it. But I don't have anything suitable for these. And I have to say that these are great for practice and everything, but they're just not as enjoyable to use as a proper nib, because proper nibs, they make lovely squeaky, scratchy noises and everything. They're just so beautiful, that it just adds to the whole wonderful experience. And this is part of the reason I love Inktober so much, because it appeals to me for all the beautiful little ink bottles and all the materials. But you can get great results and you can do great things with different media with it. So I think it's interesting to explore the idea of calligraphy with it as well. And even if you don't have a book, there are all these videos on right here on YouTube that you can look at of people who are quite expert in doing them, and you could probably find an alphabet for today's prompt in an alphabet that you really like by just looking it up online. So I hope you get something useful out of today's live stream. Sorry about the technical difficulties, which are always happening whenever I play music. But I can't resist playing music now and again, just for relaxing days like this. So I'm going to work away on this for another few hours until I get it together to be able to do it well enough to put on this piece down the side, and then I'll upload a video with that. Okay, so I'll see you, folks, and look out for the video later if you're curious if I ever got to write frost properly. And in fact, day 20 I have to learn, so I better get on with it. Huh? See you, folks. Thanks for dropping in. Bye.